We gather today as a movement that refuses to be silent, a movement that refuses to be complicit, a movement that refuses to back down. We are here because the struggle for Palestine isn't just a moment, it is a worldwide global movement. Because in the face of apartheid, in the face of ethnic cleansing, in the face of the occupation, we rise. Because every bomb dropped on Gaza, every military raid in the West Bank, and every home demolished in Jerusalem is a call to action. And now we hear the quiet part said out loud. We hear the plans and dreams of Donald Trump, who wants to ethnic cleanse Palestinians from Gaza. To that I say, Mr. Trump, your plan will fail. It will fail because Gaza is not for sale. It will fail because Palestinians have stood firm against every attempt to erase them, against genocide, against war crimes, against the most horrifying attempts to wipe a nation. It will fail because Gaza has seen the worst of humanity, bombs wiping out every generation. And yet, the streets of Rafah, the streets of Beit Hanun, the streets of Beit Lahia, the streets of Shuja'iyya never submitted. So, Mr. Trump, you can keep your so-called Middle East Riviera, because Gaza will flourish, and Gaza will rise, and Gaza will continue to defy every attempt to erase it. Mr. Trump, you underestimate our movement, so allow me to introduce you. This is the largest anti-genocide, anti-war, anti-racism movement the entire world has seen. This is a movement that has seen students protesting for justice, that has seen workers striking for principles, has seen journalists and artists and healthcare workers speaking truth to power. We are seeing our governments being forced to act, not because they want to, but because we made them. Because we have showed them that the tide of history is not on their side, but on the side of the oppressed. This is a movement that connects struggles across the globe. So from Gaza to Ferguson, from London to Johannesburg, from Damascus to Beirut to the streets of Jenin, we fight for Palestine. And when we fight for Palestine, we fight for justice everywhere. And when we win for everyone. We know and believe and trust that Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. This isn't a distant dream. This is an undeniable reality. We will march, we will organize, and we will mobilize until every system that exploits and dehumanizes falls. This is not just the liberation of Palestine, this is the liberation of us all. So from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you.
Make some noise for Yasmin. Our next speaker is here representing the Palestinian Forum in Britain. They're another of the co-organisers of today's rally. Please make some noise for Faris Ahmed.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Solidarity with all those facing charges for protesting, as is their right. Donald Trump, a common thug, thinks he can waltz into Gaza and take it like it's his birthright. For 15 months, the Zionists tried to take Gaza. For 15 months, they tried to break the Palestinian spirit, and they failed miserably, and Donald Trump will too. I say it unequivocally. Gaza does not belong to Trump, nor does it belong to Netanyahu. And in fact, every inch of Palestine belongs to the Palestinians. Donald Trump wants to ethnically cleanse Palestine, the Palestinians, from Gaza to Egypt and Jordan. And in doing so, he's done something seemingly impossible. He has united Arab regimes against Israel. His statements are absolutely insane. But at least an American president is finally being honest about American imperialism. America is not a peaceful mediator. America is not a good faith actor. America is a genocidal empire hell-bent on destroying anyone who rises up. And the Israelis couldn't be happier to hear the nonsense coming out of Trump's mouth. Netanyahu jumped at the opportunity to scupper the ceasefire and go back to committing genocide in Gaza, and yet again he failed. But let's not pretend that this ceasefire brought peace. Peace will not be achieved until justice is achieved for the Palestinians and Palestinian land is liberated from the Zionist occupation. Confronting Trump's crazy plans requires bold positions and the unity of the all popular and official forces that believe in Palestinian rights, not only in Palestine, not only in the Arab countries, but everywhere where the free people of the world reside. Israel is still killing Palestinians, especially in the West Bank, where they hope that they can expel or kill every last Palestinian there. And here we are repeatedly asked by our comrades and our friends, where is the Palestinian Authority? Where is the Palestinian Authority? Where have they been when Israel was committing genocide in Gaza? Where have they been when Israel has been bombing refugee camps in the West Bank? To this day, after 15 months of genocide in Gaza, the Palestinian Authority, led by Mahmoud Abbas, continues security coordination with the occupation. This is in clear contradiction to the desire of all Palestinians, and even in contradiction to the decisions of the Palestinian Liberation Organization bodies. If you want to be the legitimate representatives of the Palestinians, you must accept political unity, you must work together to rebuild Gaza, and you must end security coordination now! But we, the Palestinian people and our allies, will not wait for you. We will struggle with every fiber of our being, and as we say in Arabic, شئتم أم أبيتم يعني في العام خاوة. From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Thank you.
Our next speaker is here today representing over 500,000 members of the National Education Union, which has consistently campaigned for Palestinian human rights. Please give a warm welcome to the General Secretary of the NEU, Daniel Kabere.
Just a few weeks ago, we were welcoming the news of a ceasefire, but today we are in a very different and dangerous place. Trump wants to take over Gaza and turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East. For Trump, Gaza is a real estate and development opportunity. Forget that Gaza is home to 2 million Palestinian people who have been displaced multiple times since October 23 and whose forebearers were themselves refugees displaced to Gaza following the Nakba of 1948. Let there be no mistake, Trump wants ethnic cleansing, the forced removal of people from their land, and it will constitute a gross violation of international law. Trump's plan has been welcomed by Netanyahu and his far-right allies, who have made it clear they don't want phase 2 and phase 3 of the ceasefire. Be in no doubt, a return to hostilities will be a catastrophe for the people of Gaza, especially its children. A UN report has said that Israel's war conducted in Gaza was consistent with the characteristics of genocide, including mass civilian casualties, the use of starvation as a weapon of war. Gaza's entire 2.1 million population is now in need of humanitarian assistance. Tens of thousands killed, thousands more missing under the rubble and presumed dead. The UN has described the Gaza Strip as a graveyard for children, with almost 15,000 children killed and thousands more missing, thousands more children and young people having sustained life-changing injuries. 60,000 children are estimated to be in need of treatment for acute malnutrition. 658,000 children and young people have no access to formal education, and under the cover of the Gaza war, Israeli military and settler attacks in the West Bank have escalated since October, with 900 Palestinians killed, almost 200 of whom are children. We cannot return to the barbarism that the world has witnessed. The UN has estimated that it will cost more than $53 billion to rebuild Gaza. But the UK government has been complicit in Israel's war crimes. Now it must make clear that that it will actively oppose his plans to ethnically cleanse Gaza and play its part in securing Gaza's reconstruction, along with France, with Germany and the rest of the EU and Arab states. I was deeply moved, we were all deeply moved of the images of the thousands of Palestinians on the long march back to their homes across Gaza once the ceasefire took place. And those same people reclaiming what's left of their homes amidst the devastating ruins. Nelson Mandela talked of a long march to freedom, a phrase that the Palestinian people only know too well. We must march as one with the Palestinian people in Gaza, in the West Bank. Say no to Trump, yes to Palestine. Viva, viva Palestina!
Thank you, Daniel. Our next speaker is a Palestinian activist, organizer, and storyteller. Please give a very warm welcome to Janine.
Free, 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 free. My name is Janine and I'm here on behalf of the Palestinian Youth Movement. Gaza is the heart of the Palestinian struggle. Gaza is the lifeblood of Palestinian resistance. The people of Gaza have withstood 15 months of genocide, 18 years of siege, 75 years of Zionist settler colonialism, and over 100 years of colonial and imperialist terror at the hands of this country. Shame! But as we saw the people of Gaza returning to their land and their homes, we were reminded of the steadfastness of the Palestinian people. As we saw the images of Palestinian prisoners being released in the West Bank, we were reminded of the strength of the Palestinian spirit. It is no accident that we were flooded with images of our people returning to their homes in Gaza and images of our prisoners being released in the West Bank at the same time, because the two go hand in hand. If the last 15 months have shown us anything, it is that the Palestinian people stand united. From Nusayrat to Nablus, from Jenin to Jerusalem, from Tubas to Tabariya, from Tehesha to Dahiya, our people are united and our struggle is one. And this is precisely why the Zionist entity of Israel has now redirected its violence towards the West Bank. Since the ceasefire announcement in Gaza, the West Bank has been under an increased campaign of Zionist terror. Shame! Earlier this month, Israel demolished 20 buildings in Jenin refugee camp, the largest single demolition in the West Bank since 1967. Shame! And even as our prisoners are being released, we have seen hundreds of Palestinians arrested and held under the most inhumane conditions. Shame! And just like we saw in Gaza, there are Palestinians from Jenin who have been displaced and taking shelter in schools. Shame! And as all of this unfolds in the West Bank, Trump has announced plans to ethnically cleanse 2 million Palestinians from Gaza and relocate them to Egypt and Jordan. Shame! Let us be clear. No investor, no development project, and no real estate deal can erase Gaza's history or the right of the Palestinian people to remain on their land. Gaza is not for sale. The Egyptian and Jordanian regimes must reject Trump's ethnic cleansing plan. They must reflect the will of the Arab masses who have always stood with Palestinian liberation. We see the heightened Israeli PA assault on the West Bank and Trump's plan for Gaza for what they truly are, a desperate attempt to break the will of the Palestinian people. But the last 15 months have proven to the entire world that the will of the Palestinian people cannot be broken. From prisoners in the West Bank who attributed their release to the people of Gaza, to Palestinians in exile struggling for return, it is clear: from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, from the sea to the river. Thank you.
Again for Jenin! Our next speaker is here representing the thousands of our Jewish brothers and sisters who form the Jewish bloc and join us on every single national demonstration since October 23. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Daniel Wernberg!
Hello. Brothers, sisters, as you know, my name is Daniel, and I am honoured to speak on behalf of the Jewish Bloc for Palestine. We are a coalition of thousands of Jews, and we have marched on every single national demonstration for Palestine. We are loud, we are proud, and we are a Jewish voice that opposes injustice everywhere. In our ranks are 9-month-old babies and 90-year-old elders. We have rabbis and atheists, reformniks and orthodox. We are here on every march, and every single time we have been warmly embraced with nothing but love and sympathy and empathy, because we are part of this struggle. Now, why are we here? There are countless reasons, but I'm just going to give you 3. 1, because we are human beings. Part of our common humanity is the duty to see ourselves in the Gazan parents who carry the remains of their children in plastic bags. We see our own children in the newborns that were left to die in ICUs and incubators. We see our own parents in the elders who've spent their whole lives in refugee camps. An assault on humanity anywhere is an assault on humanity everywhere. Every fiber of our beings screams out for Palestine. Free, free Palestine!
Palestine!
2, it's because we are Jews. When the Zionist state drapes itself in Jewish symbols, when its leaders claim to speak on behalf of all Jews, when the IDF defile our holy Torah by taking it into Gaza and other battle zones, they implicate all of us. And we refuse to be silent while our traditions are defiled by Zionism. We refuse to be complicit in the destruction of Gaza.
No!
Third reason. Because we are Jews in Britain, and our self-appointed communal leadership are lying to us and lying about us. The Board of Deputies, the CST and the JLC are slandering this movement. They are slandering this rally, and they are slandering the vast majority of people on this planet, all to defend apartheid. And we say we are sick of this nonsense. We are sick of these arsonists posing as firefighters. We are sick of this genocide, and we are sick of the 100-year war on Palestine. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! And Shabbat Shalom.
Free, free! Free, free! Our next speaker is someone who we are especially honoured to have here with us in London today. She's a Palestinian war journalist from Gaza, a human rights advocate who has worked with international organisations.
Salam everyone, it's great to be here. I want to start by asking you, are you anti-racist? Are you anti-colonialist? Are you anti-apartheid? Are you anti-Israel? Free, free! Today, while I was marching alongside you beautiful souls, I actually started crying out of being overwhelmed with the amount of love you've shown us, Palestinians. I've grew up all of my life in Gaza in a small refugee camp called Al Bureij, and I'm very proud of that. I studied international relations and worked in journalism for years, and that's because I think I need to be a voice for those who are voiceless. And so many of us are voiceless under Israeli regime and apartheid. In 2022, I had the pleasure and the honor of working as a war journalist with Ain Media, a Palestinian company with Rushdie Al-Sarraj, who is a famous Palestinian journalist who was murdered in cold blood in this latest genocide. Rushdie was my mentor and boss and a very close friend. My other best friend, Ibrahim Lafi, he was also murdered as a journalist just because they had a voice like me. They had a camera, and that was their weapon. Today, I'm standing in front of you, and the genocide has not ended. The war is still going on. What's happening in Palestine is ethnic cleansing, it's genocide, and it's a crime against humanity. Today, we have a ceasefire, but it's not permanent, and it's not very official. Every now and then, Israel breaks the ceasefire. Today, I stand in front of you and I ask you to always talk about Palestine, to hold us close to your heart. We're Palestinian. We're proud people. We fight for justice. We fight for freedom. In my blood, there is freedom and freedom only. You know, Trump thinks Palestine is some real estate thing that he can sell off. He can give us Saudi or Egypt or Jordan. But we Palestinians, we only want Palestine and Palestine only. And we will never, never, ever give up. the rest of the world live, sir. Thank you.
Once again, give it up for Yara Eid. Our next speaker is a British Palestinian from Gaza, speaking on behalf of all of those who have lost their family members in Gaza. Please give a very warm welcome to Hamza Stitan.
Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! I am speaking to you today as a descendant of the Nakba, the catastrophe which saw hundreds of thousands of Palestinians ethnically cleansed and forcibly displaced from their cities and towns. Those who denied the Nakba since 1948 cannot deny the Nakba of today. Donald Trump stated that he intends to take over Gaza and remove the Palestinians. This can only be described as ethnic cleansing, and it is shameful for anyone to try and call it something different. Trump also stated that Israel should let hell break out in Gaza. Have the past 16 months not already been hell on our people? The conditions my relatives have told me they have had to endure to survive are horrific. My cousin Abdullah has been continuously displaced throughout this genocide. Abdullah's elderly father, his wife, and 4 of his little children were killed in an Israeli airstrike. He survived and was transferred to a hospital in Rafah, leaving his home in Deir al-Balah. Once he left the hospital, he moved to a school that was turned into a shelter in Rafah, and that soon was also targeted by Israeli airstrikes. He was then forced to move back to central Gaza to set up a tent. I spoke to Abdullah yesterday. He tells me he's back in hospital, but while his house is no longer standing, his determination remains. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have returned north once the ceasefire came into effect. Whether we wish to remain or leave, other than ourselves, it is a profound insult. It is a profound insult to our intelligence for them to destroy our homes, and they say Palestinians wish to leave anyway. Yes! My uncle returned to the north of Gaza, to Gaza City, after being displaced for over a year. He returned on foot, walking over 5 hours at his elderly age through the rubble. He returned to his home reduced to rubble. In that home, he kept personal documents from the 1940s, documents which are older than the Israeli occupation, documents which the Israeli occupation has always sought to destroy to diminish our right of return. But our right of return remains unwavering, legally enshrined, and morally obligatory. Yeah! We cannot betray the steadfastness of the Palestinian people on the ground by remaining silent in our privilege. What we've witnessed cannot be normalized, and as Palestinians, we only ask that you view our humanity and recognize it. Thank you very much. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine!
Our next speaker is here representing Friends of Al-Aqsa, another of the co-organisers of today's demonstration. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Ismail Patel.
Assalamu alaikum. Great news. The numbers are still coming in, but we estimate at the moment there are over 150,000 people. Friends, at the height of the British imperial power in 1917, a deplorable act was committed. Balfour, intoxicated with imperial power, gave Palestine, a land that did not belong to the British, to the Zionists without the consent. We believed that such treachery and act of piracy would never be repeated. Yet here we stand with Donald Trump, the self-styled pharaoh of the US empire, has declared his intent to seize Gaza for his own profit. Perhaps his logic is that if he does not steal Gaza, then Netanyahu will. But let us remind them, despite 100 years of forced evictions, demolitions of homes, unspeakable torture, imprisonment without trial, and the constant denial of freedom, the Palestinian people have stood defiant and unyielding. They have refused to bow down before the Israeli apartheid colonialist regime. Let it be known to Trump and his allies, your plans of ethnic cleansing Gaza will fail, because Palestinians today are not isolated. Today, more than ever before, Palestinians have friends and supporters around the globe. From Johannesburg to Tokyo, from Jakarta to Algeria, from London to Washington, millions march, campaign, lobby and boycott in solidarity with the Palestinian cause. In the resounding chorus of the global Palestinian solidarity movement, we have faith that the US and Israel imperial design will crumble. No force, however mighty its military might, can ever vanquish the collective moral power of our hearts. Your relentless assault will only deepen our resolve for justice and a free Palestine. But above all, let it be clear, the Palestinian spirit cannot be bought or broken. Palestinians have resisted in the last 100 years of occupation, and they will continue to resist their land from being transformed into a colonialist monument built over their children's and their parents' blood and tears. And we around the world are here to support the just and the rightful claims of the Palestinians. We are united in our resistance against colonization, ethnic cleansing and genocide. And we say to Trump, Israel and their supporters, united we will prevail. Deep in our hearts, our steadfast resolve burns bright. United we will prevail. Our day is coming. We will build a future of justice and peace. In every beat of our united hearts and resistance, we believe, united we will prevail. Our day is coming. Palestine will be free. Free, free. Free, free. Free, free. Thank you very much.
London, we've just heard that there are well over 150,000 of us here today. Now I want you all to repeat after me. Donald Trump, your plan will fail. Palestine is not for sale. Donald Trump, your plan will fail. Palestine is not for Palestinian people and for calling out this government's complicity in Israel's genocide. Please give a warm welcome to the MP for Coventry South, Zara Sultana.
We are here today because silence is not an option. We are here today to demand an end to the violence, an end to the oppression, an end to the silence that has enabled Palestinian suffering for too long. And with one voice we say, ceasefire now, ceasefire forever. Let us be clear, this is not just a conflict. This is a campaign of destruction, displacement and dehumanization. In Gaza, 92% of homes are gone, families are starving, forced to live under rubble and denied food, water and medicine. In the West Bank, Israeli forces invade refugee camps, demolish homes, terrorize children and displace thousands. The world is watching as a monstrous plan unfolds. The ethnic cleansing of 2.2 million Palestinians from Gaza, championed by Trump, rooted in decades of Israeli policy. And this is a blueprint for crimes against humanity. And shame on the US, shame on the UK, on Germany and others for their complicity in this. Shame on them. Their weapons, their surveillance, their diplomatic cover. This isn't just a political failure, it is a moral failure, and Palestinians will not be erased. For 76 years, they have resisted occupation, they have resisted apartheid, and they have resisted ethnic cleansing. Their cause is just, their rights are undeniable, and their determination is unbreakable. So free, free! Free, free! Some politicians tell us there's no need for us to march, as if a ceasefire means the violence has ended, as if families in Gaza aren't still starving, as if millions aren't still homeless, as if settler militias aren't still rampaging through the West Bank, stealing land and killing with an impunity. Shame on them too. They want us to believe that it's over. It is not over. A ceasefire is not justice. A ceasefire does not build back the homes that we have seen destroyed. It does not bring back the dead. It does not end the occupation. So we will not stop marching until the occupation ends, until the apartheid regime ends, until Palestine is free. We will not be silent while Israel turns Gaza into a mass grave. We will not stop marching until every Palestinian lives freely. And here in Britain, we demand our government ends its complicity in genocide with a full two-way arms embargo, uses every lever to make the ceasefire permanent, condemns, literally the bare minimum, condemns ethnic cleansing, apartheid and occupation, and stands for Palestinian freedom, justice and self-determination. Britain claims to be welcoming those who are fleeing violence, yet Palestinians, victims of genocide, facilitated by UK weapons, are shut out. This is anti-Palestinian racism, plain and simple, and it has cross-party consensus. Shame on our government and everyone enabling that. And finally, speaking out has consequences. Journalists are censored, activists are arrested, students are suspended, and politicians are punished for speaking out. I know this firsthand. My Labour whip was suspended for wanting children to not live in poverty by scrapping the 2-child benefit cap. It has not been restored because I have continuously called out our government's complicity in the genocide of Palestinians. But this is a historical moment and history will judge us. Will we stay silent as Palestinians face annihilation? Did we look away? Did we be complicit? No. I speak on behalf of all of us here today. We will keep fighting for justice, for dignity, and for Palestine to be free. So free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Thank you.
Once again, give it up for Zara Sultana. Our next speaker is a man who needs no introduction. He's the People's Prime Minister and the Independent MP for Islington North. So please give the warmest of welcomes to Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here today. There are many days to remember, but many of us here can never forget the 15th of February 2003, when millions of us marched on the streets of London to try and bring peace to Iraq and stop that particular war. And we're still here today demanding peace and justice for the Palestinian people and an end to the bombardment and the war in Gaza. We're also asserting, and this is important, our right to be on the streets of London, our right to protest, our right to make our voices heard. And to those people, not just here on the streets of London today, but on the streets of many towns and cities all over the country, who week in, week out, organise demonstrations, collect signatures on petition, collect money to send to Gaza to give aid. They are also absolutely part and parcel of this amazing movement all across the land of solidarity with the Palestinian people. We're not going away, we're not stopping, we'll carry on as long as it takes. And when President Trump announced that he would prefer it if Gaza population was entirely removed to various other countries, and said the people there cannot live there any longer, and he wants to turn it into a Riviera. For once, this woke up the entire region, and every single government all across the Middle East have rejected this plan, as indeed the whole world must reject this plan. The Palestinian people cannot, will not, and never will be moved away from Gaza. And I contacted my good friend Mustafa Barghouti of the Palestine National Initiative, who's spoken at many of our demonstrations, and you'll see him quite often on Al Jazeera and other channels, explaining what is happening, how the West Bank is being bombed, and so many other atrocities are going on. So I asked him to send a message that I could read today, and his reply to Donald Trump is simply this: no person in the world can enforce ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. All free people of the world must unite against the genocide, ethnic cleansing, and the collective punishment of the Palestinian people. Thank you, Mustafa, for your sensible and wise words. And whilst the ceasefire still holds and is obviously welcome, and we want it to hold, and we want it to become permanent, one must remember the issues have not yet gone away. Firstly, the ICJ ruling was very clear. It isn't just about the attack on innocent people in Gaza, it is also about the illegal occupation of the West Bank and the illegal settlement policy in the West Bank and the continued bombardment of the West Bank. And so our demands today are also to end the occupation and to follow international law. And so this war has demonstrated to the whole world the horror and the power of guided weapons, of computer systems that can kill people, and shown how the West, with all its weapons, can destroy. But it's also shown that people are defiant and will not go away and will not disappear. And so our message today is this, that as the Palestinian people go back to what was once their homes and see piles of rubble and the sewage flowing in the streets and the dead bodies being discovered underneath it and the mental scars that will never go away, they will attempt to rebuild their homes. They'll do it with hope, they'll do it with love, they'll do it with affection, and the next generation of Palestinian children will also write poetry and play music, and they will inspire the rest of the world. Our solidarity must never stop. Our demonstrations will go on as long as the occupation goes on, because we are forever friends of the Palestinian people. And I conclude with the words from the beautiful poem by Rifat. It's held here in front of me now. If I must die, then you must live to tell the world my story. Let us tell the world the story of the heroism of the Palestinian people and never end our solidarity with them. Thank you.
Free, free! Free, free! Now our next speaker was one of the key organisers of the historic march against the Iraq War that took place on these very streets 22 years ago today. And ever since then, he's been tirelessly demonstrating and organising against the British establishment's imperial aggression and in support of the Palestinian people. And in all that time, it was under a Labour government led by an authoritarian who once pretended to be a human rights lawyer that our next speaker was arrested and charged for peacefully protesting against genocide. He's been in court this week and fought and won to dismiss his outrageous bail conditions that were banning him from being here today. But he is still facing charges. Please give a very, very warm welcome to the Vice Chair of Stop the War Coalition and the Chief Steward on all 23 of the previous national demonstrations. Please make some noise for Chris Nynam!
Thanks very much, Grace, and thanks to everyone for being here. And I want to say thank you to all of you for the tremendous support that you have given to myself and Ben since the charges were made. One of the great qualities of this movement is that in the face of demonisation, lies and threats, people have kept on coming week after week, month after month, and I want to pay respect to each and every one of you for the courage, for the commitment and the staying power that you have shown. It could not be more important. And we should be clear that what happened on the 18th of January was a serious escalation and a serious assault on the freedom of assembly in this country. A Labour government that is boasting about getting tough on migrants, that is crawling on bended knee to Donald Trump, is cracking down on dissent in a way that even Suella Braverman didn't manage. It is continuing to lie that we are hate marchers and that we are a threat to Jewish people. The exact opposite is the case. Our protests bring together those people from all backgrounds in society, including Jewish people, most appalled by the oppression, by the suffering of a people under merciless attack. And as such, it is a simple fact that our protests represent the very best of humanity. And we will not stand by and allow our freedoms to be taken away. The attacks come at a moment of danger. Trump represents a new, more naked, more violent form of capitalist rule. He is a mortal threat to the Palestinians, and he is capable of lashing out in many directions. This great movement has won many things, and it has won the support of the overwhelming majority in this country for the Palestinians, and we need to deepen it and strengthen it until we win. But this struggle is also a struggle about the kind of world that we want to live in. Most people in this country, most people around the world despise everything that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu and Nigel Farage stand for. Most people put welfare before warfare. Most people know that every penny spent on arming Israel, every penny spent on increasing defence is a penny not spent on crumbling schools, on hospitals, on the welfare state and the things that ordinary people really need. And our message today to our government must be, you sit down and strategise and try and make deals with Donald Trump if you want to. We will oppose him, his allies, and everything he stands for with all our energy until we win. Stay in the streets, keep organising, we can win. Free Palestine!
Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! And in our thousands, in our millions! disarmament, one of the co-organisers of today's rally. Please welcome the General Secretary of the CND, Sophie Bolt.
Yeah, the General Secretary, well done. Brilliant, it's so amazing to see so many of you. Well done for being here today. Now we know that Trump is deadly serious in his threat of the enforced ethnic cleansing of the entire population of Gaza, which we know is a war crime under international law. It's a war crime that is totally part of Trump's expansionist plans for nuclear-armed Israel. But we will not stand by while Israel or the US carry out ethnic cleansing of over 2 million people in Gaza. We will not let it happen! Because Gaza belongs to the Palestinian people. It is their homeland. It is good, it is very good that key US allies like Egypt and Saudi Arabia are still standing firmly against Trump, and long may that last. So we call on our government to make clear its total opposition to this criminal plan of ethnic cleansing and give its full backing for Palestinian sovereignty. We have to redouble our efforts to support a permanent ceasefire and to block Trump's plans to steal Gaza from the Palestinians. Because such a horror would drive even greater devastation across the Middle East and beyond. We know that as well as Palestine, Trump wants total regime change in Iran. Whilst he backs nuclear-armed genocidal Israel to the hilt, Trump is using nuclear hypocrisy to justify military threats and more crippling sanctions to the Iranian people. So whilst Trump's focus is on Palestine, we know he is a threat to the entire world. The world is at a crossroads. On the one side, we are confronted with continued genocide, destruction of sovereignty, military aggression and sanctions backed by the threat of nuclear war. And on the other is a world based on peace and global cooperation, respecting sovereignty and international law. And justice and freedom for the Palestinians is absolutely central to that world. And it is that world that we are all struggling so hard for now. Struggling so hard. And remember, we are supported in that by the overwhelming majority of the world's population who want a world of peace, nuclear disarmament, and freedom and justice for the Palestinian people. And we will. We have to. We will win. Free, free. Free, free. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! And from the sea to the river! From the sea to the river! From the sea to the river! In our thousands, in our millions! In our thousands, in our the journalist who released an expose revealing how coverage at the BBC is systematically biased towards Israel and accurate reporting on Palestine is censored. Please give the warmest of welcomes to Owen Jones.
No excuses, nowhere to hide. No one can say they did not know what the Israeli state was doing to the Palestinian people with Western arms and with Western support. The racist psychopath that is Donald Trump has confessed to the world that Israel has committed genocide. He didn't mean to, but he did. As well as proclaiming that Gaza is a demolition site, as well as describing Gaza as hell, Donald Trump declared that the destruction of Gaza means no one can live there, that Gaza is not habitable. He even said that a civilization has been wiped out in Gaza. Yes, Trump does not say who did this. Israel, with a direct facilitation of the US and the West, as they committed extermination against the Palestinian people. Yes, he declares all of this so that he and Israel can violently drive Gaza's surviving population out, and we should describe it for what it is, not just using the euphemism of ethnic cleansing, but describing it as an act of genocide in itself. Donald Trump has confessed, though, the depraved, grotesque, and undeniable truth. To quote Article 2 of the Genocide Convention, the definition of genocide means deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. That is what Trump has confessed to, genocide. That is what Israel has done, genocide. That is what the West has facilitated, genocide. And now careers must end and politicians must go to jail. No excuses, nowhere to hide. Friends, we are not simply protesters here, we are witnesses. When politicians are hauled up to the dock, when journalists try to resist being made public pariahs for what they did, their genocidal complicity, they will claim ignorance. We did not know, they will squeal. If we'd known the real horror, we would have behaved differently. And it's up to us to scream through the ages. No excuses, nowhere to hide. No crime in history, no crime has been so documented by its victims as it actually happened, and no crime in history has been so confessed to by its perpetrators as it happened. Friends, if we normalize this genocidal depravity, then it's not just the Palestinian people who are doomed. We will condemn humanity itself to the abyss. No excuses, nowhere to hide. Accountability will come, not because of vengeance, but because humanity will have no future unless there is justice for a crime so obscene and so shameless. To those who armed this obscenity, to those who cheered on and legitimized this obscenity, accountability will come. The clock is ticking. Tick, tock, tick, tock. No excuses, nowhere to hide. And to the Palestinian people finally, know this. As you suffer one of the great crimes of our age, in a world of such cruelty, you have taught us what it is to be human. You have taught us so much by simply surviving. You have changed so many of us forever with your resilience, with your determination to live in the face of such horror. You've given all of us the renewed strength to cleanse this world of evil, oppression and violence. You haven't given up, and to the Palestinian people, we will never give up on you. Free Palestine!
Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Our next speaker is a beloved children's author and poet who has spoken out on behalf of the children of Palestine and on behalf of all children affected by wars for decades. Please give a very warm welcome to Michael Rosen.
Thanks very much. I'm going to be a little bit quieter. My role is somebody who writes poems, so it comes over as a bit quieter. We've all known, we've all seen what it is that Trump has said, the ghastly, horrible, genocidal stuff that he said. And I saw a tweet on social media that said, "Welcome to the Gaza Riviera, built on the bones of dead children." And that spoke to me, and I imagined some tourist from anywhere in the world, in Gaza, in the future. So this is in the voice of a tourist in the future, which we fight will never happen. But when we sometimes imagine the most awful, it helps us fight the most awful. So here's a tourist speaking. "The beach on the Med is soft and sandy. The airport nearby is cheap and handy. The clouds in the sky are far and few. It's cocktails time in a room with a view. It's always good to have ideas and plans, and no one here has blood on their hands. There are pics of old Gaza on the hotel wall. We bought an Arab rug in the shopping mall. We came out here for a wedding celebration. What we see is quality regeneration. It's always good to have ideas and plans, and no one here has blood on their hands. The people here are doing things properly. I myself deal with land and property. I reckon this place is going to be great for people like me in real estate. It's always good to have ideas and plans, and no one here has blood on their hands. If you buy right now, you'll make a killing. Out at sea, they're going to start drilling. The clouds in the sky are far and few. It's time for cocktails in a room with a view. It's always good to have ideas and plans, and no one here has blood on their hands." Thank you very much. Thank you. We are, of course, very grateful for Keir Starmer, everything that he does. The Prime Minister said the people in Gaza lost their lives. That was careless of them. They must have been careless about where they were standing, or sitting, or sleeping. They didn't get out of the way, like walking out onto the road without looking, perhaps. They were forgetful about health and safety, perhaps. He seems concerned, but maybe he hopes they will get their lives back. Some kind person will hand them back to them, perhaps. Maybe he wonders where they lost them. Now that he's seen pictures of streets turned to rubble, maybe he thinks they got lost underneath some bricks or slabs of concrete. This may lead him to wonder what it was that caused the buildings to fall. He must have found out by now that it wasn't an earthquake. Perhaps he wonders if it could have been anything like the London Blitz, an event we remember with horror and sadness. So why would anyone do such a thing today and now? Why would anyone use weapons against civilians so that they would end up losing their lives? Surely this would be something that our Prime Minister would think of with horror and sadness. But it seems not. It just seems to have happened because the people of Gaza were careless. Thousands and thousands of people were careless. So it is that we have the careless people of Gaza and the concerned Prime Minister of Great Britain. Thank you. I'll just finish with a short one. Now here's a mystery. If you say from the river to the sea, they can lock you up, you or me. But if you say from the sea to the river, you can be the Israeli Prime Minister. Thank you very much. Thank you. We fight on.
hand for Michael Rosen. Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! 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 And from the sea to the river! From the sea to the river! From the sea to the river! Now London, before I introduce our final speaker, it is a great honour to give you a revised numbers estimate for today's demonstration. And I am really, really pleased and honoured and proud to be able to say that there are at least 175,000 of us on the streets of London today. 175,000 of us here to say that Gaza was not, is not, and never will be for sale. That Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu's plan will fail. And that one day soon, one day in all of our lifetimes, we will see a free, peaceful and just Palestine from the Jordan River all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! In our thousands, in our millions! In our thousands, in our millions! In our thousands, in our millions! We are all! We are all! We are all! Our final speaker of today's demonstration is, in fact, he almost needs no introduction. He's the director of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, one of the organisers of today's rally. He's currently taking on the police and the state. It's Ben Jamal!
Friends, I want to thank you all for coming out again, this time 175,000 strong. Now friends, I want to share a truth with you. Every time that we march and protest, it matters, but some marches and some protests are more important than others. On October the 14th, 2023, it was crucial that we came out in our hundreds of thousands just 7 days after October the 7th. All week, you know that the political establishment, the powers that be, have been trying to tell us that history began on October the 7th, tried to erase the reality of 76 years of oppression of the Palestinian people, decades of military occupation, apartheid, colonization and ethnic cleansing. All week they had tried to convince us that it was the right thing to do to emblazon the flag of a state responsible for those decades of oppression onto every public building in London. And all week they tried to tell us that Israel had a right to do everything it was already doing, cutting off food, electricity and all supplies to the people of Gaza. So right then, it was crucial that the Palestinian people and that the political establishment knew that there was a movement of solidarity ready to oppose all of those narratives and to take action to end those injustices. On November the 11th, it was crucial that we marched after Suella Braverman. Remember her? Suella Braverman has spent weeks trying to drive us off the streets and mobilised the far right against us, and in response we came out over 1 million people strong, and this movement grew in strength. But friends, today it was crucial that we marched, not just because we are facing new attempts to repress our movements. You all saw, you all know what happened on our last demonstration on January the 18th, with the issuing of charges against many people, including Chris Nynham and myself. But more importantly than that, right now, Israel is promising to extend its genocide. Trump and Netanyahu are proposing a crime of historic magnitude, a second Nakba of mass ethnic cleansing. Today, you have come out 175,000 strong to resist all of that. So friends, before you head home, I want you all to do something for me. I want you to do it right now. Look around you. Look at the people right now, to your left and to your right. Look at the people in front of you and behind you. Look at how beautiful they are. Look at what you belong to. Look at how strong we are. Friends, I wish you could all stand where I am standing and see how far you all stretch back. This is the community that we have built, that we are still building, a community of resistance. Friends, we are here because of what we stand against. We stand opposed to the vision of Netanyahu and Trump and all of their far-right allies, a world where might is right, a world which divides people according to race, ethnicity, culture or nationality, and believes that those cast into the category of lesser beings can be disregarded, cast aside, even to the point of genocide, even to the point of forcing 2 million people from their homes and their homeland into other countries, into the desert, wherever. Friends, we are here because we believe in a better world, founded on principles of rights that belong to all. And friends, we believe that this world can be brought into being if we build a community that is stronger than the Trumps and the Netanyahus. Now, we have always known, every single one of us, that the struggle for the rights of the Palestinian people is central to this struggle for a better world. But that is never true, has never been true, more than it is now. Right now, the fight for the rights of the Palestinian people is a fight for all of humanity. If the people of Palestine, if their homeland are lost, then humanity is lost. All of us are lost. That is why we say in our thousands and in our millions. So friends, let us go from here, inspired by our mutual strength. Let us go from here, inspired by the Palestinian people who have withstood genocide, who when the bombs stopped falling in Gaza gathered up their belongings and unbowed, backs straight, holding the hands of their loved ones, marched back to their homes, or what remained of their homes, rising again from the midst of destruction as they have always done. Friends, let us be inspired by the words of our brother Ghassan Abu Sitta and his enduring faith that if we win it, if together we make it, tomorrow will be a Palestinian day. So go back to your homes, join your local Palestine Solidarity Campaign branch, take up the campaigns for boycott and divestment that are happening in every single one of your communities, and be ready for March the 15th, when once more we will bring this mighty movement, this community of resistance, once more to the streets of London. From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Thank you.
Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea! 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 And from the sea to the river! 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 In our thousands, in our millions! 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 And once again, let's say,